What up, what up, what up, what up? It's me, L Teddy 27.
Good as night, right about the hood.
Oh, dear God, I'm already eating a drink. Look a damn mess, just a damn mess. No means no, and yes means no. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, people? What's up? What's up? It's me. Y'all know who I am. I'm L Teddy 27. I don't need to keep telling y'all that. Somewhere around me. Anyway, this is going to be our review for The Have and Have Nots, Season 7, Episode 13. It is entitled Find Together. Now, let me start off. Tyler. If this is the fuckery and fuck shit you were going to give us, you could have stayed on lockdown in the pandemic. Have and Have Nots could have stayed in the, on quarantine. This shit is awful. This shit is horrible. Now, I know you have done some horrible writing in your day, Tyler. You've done some awful writing. This is right at the top of the list of horrible. This is almost unwatchable. This show is damn near unwatchable. We're going to suffer through it. I don't know how much longer, but if it continues to be like this, I can't. I just can't. I'm just going to be real honest. This shit is unwatchable. We start off down to the police station. We know at the end of last episode, Uncle Vinny shot the police officer in the head. So, of course, a gunshot in the middle of a police station is going to reverberate against all of the walls, and everybody's going to hear it. Police officer comes out. Apparently, this is one of the officers that knows, that knows the deal, and sees Vinny and is like, "Oh, what happened?" And so then another police officer came out, and the other police officer obviously did not know the deal. So Uncle Vinny was like, "Oh, the cop committed suicide," and the other cop says, "Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, he committed suicide." And the other cop is over there trying to, see about the cop that's on the ground, the cop that doesn't know the deal. And then other cops start to come out there. There was this whole back and forward with this, "Oh, get my mama out. Oh, you need to wait." Some cops know the deal, some cops don't. This shit was horrible. It was horrible writing. It was hard to understand what was going on. You mean to tell me that somebody, and then some cops said, "Oh, go get the camera. I'll pull the camera tape." Like, you mean to tell me a cop gets shot? Now, I know that y'all got all kinds of deals with Mama Rose, but the last time I checked, when a cop gets killed, all bets are off in most police stations that I know of. And if y'all the only ones sitting there, it's very easy to see if somebody shot themselves, okay? I don't remember Uncle Vinny putting a gun in a man's hand. Excuse me, y'all. I don't remember Uncle Vinny putting a gun in a man's hand so that it looks like he was shot, that he shot himself. I remember Uncle Vinny taking the gun and giving the gun to the guy who took the gun off. So if the guy shot himself and committed I can't. Then you got cousin Sandy who's acting like he can't take it. "Oh, I don't feel well, I'm sick." But you was just all gangster and all that stuff at the bar. I don't have this kind of... All the while Uncle Vinny is still yelling about, "Where's my mama? Get my mama out of jail." I can't. I'm not. We're moving on. Catherine and Mama Rose are in jail. They're talking. So Mama Rose tells Catherine, "Your daddy and my mama used to have dealings and whatnot. And they had a lot of deals together. And they worked well together." And so Catherine was like, "Do you know who my dad is?" But Catherine was like, "I didn't know you knew my dad." And Mama Rose was like, "Yeah, I know who your dad is." And so then they had this whole "do you know who I am" moment where Catherine is like, "Well, you know who I am. My name is Catherine Hargrave, crying. Do you know who I am? I am Mama Rose, queen of the mafia queen." All of this stupidness. It was just really stupid. It was just really dumb. Then once Mama Rose says, "Oh, your son stabbed my son," and I know Catherine says, "We paid you for that." And she was like, "No, that ain't enough. I need $1 million." Catherine was like, "Well, you won't get it." She was like, "Okay, well then your son gonna die." Then they kept having this back and forward because, of course, while I'm taking a video, Somebody wants to start cutting grass as I'm taking the video, but we'll press through. Anyway, so Mama Rose threatens Catherine, threatens Wyatt, then she threatens Catherine, and Catherine says, threatens her back. It was all just real life. Because Catherine says, you don't know who I am. Mama Rose says, you don't know who I am. They both talk about, and then Catherine does this, and then Catherine, says, I know what you did with Jennifer Salason's body. And Mama Rose is like, yeah, and that ain't, and I could do worse. And it was just real stupid, because didn't Catherine kill Jennifer Salison? Like, I'm just saying. And doesn't Mama Rose know that? I'm just... Back at the hospital, Wyatt keeps calling the nurse over and over and over. Nurse comes in. He's disrespectful to the nurse. He tells the nurse, can you go over there and give me the little cup so I can piss in? When she goes to reach for the cup, he steals some pen out of her pocket. She leaves. So then he takes the pen apart, and the little middle part of the pen where the ink is in. So magically, Wyatt takes this pen and becomes MacGyver and unlocks his handcuffs using the little thing inside the pen. Really? Really? Then ceremoniously puts on some pants, hospital gown still on now, and walks out of the hospital. I mean, at some point, leaving any hospital, don't you have to walk past the nurse's station to get to the elevator or the stairs? I'm trying to... I just can't. This shit is horrible. I was like, really? Like, first of all, I don't figure Wyatt to be able to figure out. I don't even think you can use the inside of a pen to unlock handcuffs. That's a whole nother story. Then you just nilly-willy walk out of this hospital with your gown still on. They don't even let you leave the hospital or discharge you with the gown still on. A mess. Just a mess. Justin, then we see Madison comes home, and Justin is at Madison's house. Why? At this point, I was so angry with this episode, and we weren't even halfway through, and I was just so done. I was just like, I just can't. They had this back and forward. I don't have it to do with Justin. Y'all know I do not like Justin. I don't even like Madison. So I damn sure don't like the combination of Justin and Madison. We're not doing that. Not going to even discuss it. Madison calls Jeffrey and says Justin is here. Jeffrey says, oh, you need to be worried. Nah, I'm coming over. I'm already tired, y'all. I'm just tired of just even talking about this episode. It was awful. Wyatt, we did see Wyatt running home. Now, aren't they rich? Don't they live in like a mansion? Last time I checked, rich white people mansions aren't close enough to hospitals where you can run home from said hospital. I'm just saying, but that's just me. Because that's a lot of running. You got like the rich white neighborhood that I know of, that I am familiar with back home. Yeah, you're not running from the hospital all the way back home. Hey, Wyatt was in full stride. Tyler, make this shit make sense. This shit was dumb as fuck. So he runs home, kicks the door in, alarm goes off. Magically, there's some, I don't know if it was a house phone or some cell phone right there. They pick, the phone rings, Wyatt picks it up, it's the alarm company. Hey, oh, my wife must have changed the alarm. What's the pass? He don't know the pass. Okay, the police is on their way. Wyatt hangs up. Now, if an alarm goes off, aren't the police supposed to be dispatched like immediately? Aren't they supposed to, so as to try and catch the culprits? But anyway, Wyatt had enough time to go upstairs, change clothes, because mind you, he still had on hospital gown, because nobody noticed him running down the street in the middle of this town, Savannah, Georgia, with a hospital gown. Nobody noticed that, right? But I'm just going to look past that. Changes out the hospital gown. Then he he goes and steals his mom's jewelry. And then he takes the keys to one of the cars. Gets the keys. Gets in the car. Drives off. Not a police officer in sight. Not a siren. No police officers anywhere in sight. Back at David's house, Jeffrey comes downstairs because he's about to go to Madison's house, like he said. David tells Jeffrey all about this Alyssa chick that's outside and why she's there and her connection to Erica, this, that, and the third. They both go outside, and the Alyssa chick is now across the street. Leo, that's the security guy, says, I can't do anything because she's not on the property anymore. Jeffrey drives off to Madison's house. David tells Leo to bring Alyssa inside. Alyssa comes inside. David brings Alyssa inside. This whore says, I want both of y'all. Jesus. A mess. I mean, meaning she wanted David and Leo, the little security man, at the same time. A mess. A mess. Anyway, David takes her for a ride. They drive. He says, "Come with me," and they drive off. Candace goes back to Hannah's house with Mitch. Apparently Hannah wasn't there. Benny comes and he wants to know what happened to Hannah. Candace says that according to Milo and the people who she had take Hannah off, once they took her out the bar, Hannah drove off, and so maybe she just ain't get home yet. Benny says he's still trying to find out about Derek, and so he left to go find out about Derek, get information on Derek. After that, after Benny left, Candace tells Mitch all about Derek, the fact that that's the guy who raped Hannah, the fact that that's her dad, this, that, and the third, and she needs help with the Derek situation with Benny, because Benny, is way too deep into it, and Benny trying to find out everything. So Candace wants Mitch's help with that. Then Candace gets a text that, or gets some information that she's been bumped off of her flight out of town, and she's kind of upset about that. Remember, last episode or episode before last, Landon put her on the no-fly list. Anyway, Hannah comes home. Mitch leaves. Candace tells Mitch to leave, so Mitch leaves. So Hannah comes home. Her and Candace have back and forth. She won't let Candace, because Candace still have her passport and her clothes and things in the house. She won't let Candace in to get her stuff. While they're arguing, Hannah gets a phone call from the police. The police tell her that the Cryer's house has been broken into. She need to come over now. This, that, and the third. Because remember, Jim is in the hospital. Catherine is in jail. And Hannah has power of attorney. Wyatt is also in jail, or supposed to be. So Catherine is the only person that can call. She has power of attorney. Anyway, so she says, I'll be right there. Candace's like, is you going to let me in this house to get my stuff? She's like, you ain't coming in. Now, you know what? I ain't going to even focus myself on giving commentary on this bullshit, because it ain't even worth my time. Moving on. Benny goes to Veronica's house. Veronica is still sitting at home with a hot box. And Benny is trying to get information on Derek. She won't give him nothing until he beat her guts in, okay? Until he, just trashes her guts with, as she says, his big stick. We call I get this from Jay Lee. Shouts out to Jay Lee's Corner. Tow truck dick Benny. Anyway, while Veronica's feeling and touching all on him and trying to get a piece of his jig, David busts in the door and sees all of this going on. He got Alyssa with him. David confronts Veronica saying, you sent this whore to my house. Veronica was like, I don't even know who this whore is. David was like, I know you sent her to my house. I know you sent her to my house. Veronica was like, I don't know who this whore is. So David was like, next time you send a whore to my house, you make sure. I forgot what he said. I don't even really care, but I know he left her there. So Alyssa is in the middle of the house. Benny is in the middle of the house. Benny won't fuck Veronica. So Benny leaves. And without any information on Derek. As he's leaving, the Alyssa chick follows him. The Alyssa chick follows Benny. And says, can you help me out? Can you give me a ride? I know somebody who could probably give you information. One of my girls who've been in jail. She know everybody. She'll probably know him. And so he takes her to this club where the chick is. Back down to the hospital. The police wake Jim up out of his sleep about the break-in. Now, Jim has a app on his phone that has camera, because it's 2020, people got cameras on the house that can show him who it is. Don't you think that once Jim says, "Oh, I have an app with cameras," the police would then say, "Let me see who is on camera breaking into your house"? Wouldn't that be your next thing as a police officer? Wouldn't they, like, that cuts out all of the work in trying to figure out who is the suspect? Whatever. I'm just so done at this point. Jim looks at the camera, figures out that it's Wyatt, and says, "No, he's not pressing charges. Nah, I handle it. ... He calls David and tells David, "I need you to go to the house. Wyatt done broke in. See exactly what it is he done stole. Because Catherine got a whole pharmacy upstairs. So see what it is that he got." Anyway, we then see Alyssa and Benny down to this bar. The girl says, "Oh, I've heard of the Derek guy. He lives on such and such street, but I don't know what apartment." Then we see Hannah showing up at the Cryer's mansion. The police are there. The police come up to her, ask for her ID, Who are you? You work here? Do you know the all of that bullshit. Then they say, "Oh, do you know?" Now, I would think that once that police officer spoke with Jim and Jim says, "I know who it is. I ain't pressing charges," nothing like that, wouldn't that police officer have radioed or called the police station to tell them, "Don't worry about it. We already know who broke in. It's okay"? But none of that happened. They tell Hannah, "We got the suspect." Hannah goes inside to see the suspect. Who they got in custody? Derek. And it goes off from there. I can't. This shit is awful. Like, Tyler, you have written some horrible things. This takes the cake. The entirety of you coming back from this mid-season break or finale or COVID or whatever you want to talk about has been a train wreck that keeps getting worse. And not a train wreck or car crash in a good sense where you want to watch the car crash, you can't take your eyes off of it. Not that kind. The kind that just gets on your nerve because you sitting in traffic all day thinking, "Oh, it's going to be a horrible car crash." And you go and ain't nothing but somebody's car on the side of the road. And you wondering why you spent the last 2 hours in traffic. That kind of horrible shit that makes you mad. That's what this is. I'm gonna try to be back next week for another review. This is hard, y'all. This is real hard. That's all I got for y'all. Until next week, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.